Tweeted.
All right. Now somebody's also going to click on this and make sure that the link is actually working.
Yeah, you might actually make sure I put the right link in there.
There we go. I think it's working. Well, hey, everybody. This is Andrew with Nashville Severe Weather, along with David and Will, and we're checking out a storm that's back to our southwest. There are no warnings in effect, so we do not have any severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings in effect, but we did a new radar scan coming in, though, on a storm that is back in Hickman County that is getting a little bit stronger. And a little bit earlier, we had some hail reports over in around Eagleville. That's just inside Rutherford County. But even on the Williamson County side, we had some small hail. And then as the storm moved over into Murfreesboro a little bit ago, it dropped a lot of hail. And if you've seen some of our, if you've kind of searched our T-Spotter feed, or if you've kind of been wandering around Twitter, weather Twitter around here, you've seen some of the reports that came out of Murfreesboro of some hail that moved through there. Same kind of things possible with a storm that's over in Hickman County right now, and radar's indicating a 90% probability of hail, and it might even be bordering on the severe category, at least radar indicated. What we've noticed is that what's actually reaching the ground has been smaller than what radar has been indicating, and that's not that unusual. That happens quite a bit. So we'll just kind of watch this as it moves east. Again, there are no severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings in effect, and we don't necessarily expect either one in particular. We really don't expect tornado warnings. This is not a favorable setup for tornadoes, but we could scrape together a severe thunderstorm warning if the storm strengthens back there in Hickman County. We're just going to watch it and see what the Weather Service decides to do. So that's why we're here. We're just kind of here to talk about this one and to see what is back to our west, and it could be a little strong. And I think, guys, the best advice is, if you have a beloved possession sitting in the driveway and it's 5 feet from the garage, it might, be a good time to throw it in the garage. I mean, would that be right?
Yeah, if you're a local youth thinking now would be a great time to party with my friends in a hot tub, it's a bad idea.
Well, that too. Let's look at this storm back here in Centerville. It's out toward approaching kind of the Duck River area, and it's really going to miss most of Williamson County, but it looks like down to Spring Hill, Greenbrier, Boston, areas like that, it could get a little bumpy. But the hail would be here in this purple area, and there's a new scan coming in now, so it'll move east. But so right there in that purple area is where the hail would be most likely falling. And that would be moving right down Highway 50 and 247 there in Murray County, but could, scrape Thompson Station, Spring Hill, and then maybe over toward the same areas that had the hail a little bit ago in College Grove. So generally staying south of 840, but maybe along and south of 840 in most cases. So that's what we're watching. We've had some pretty impressive lightning, and that's been over on the a couple of different cameras. We've been watching in particular a City of Brentwood camera, and this is over right there at Franklin Road and Moores Lane. And so you're looking right over there toward like Sopapillas and that kind of area. We're looking southwest. And so there's been some really impressive lightning strikes there as we look down toward the storm in Franklin, and also the one past that we're talking about down in Centerville. So the Weather Service has been watching that storm down in Centerville very carefully, just in case the hail sizes come up. But one thing that we have out there, if you're really kind of into the weather and know your terminology, the atmosphere hasn't been that incredibly favorable for storms. But there's just a couple of ingredients that are out there tonight that are, it's enough to cause the storms that we're seeing, and it's particularly there's a lot of shear out there, and so for whatever is able to develop, it's going to keep those hail sizes up. It's going to keep that hail up in the storm, let it get a little bit bigger, and then fall down. So these aren't incredibly impressive dynamics out there tonight, except for maybe just a couple of little ingredients that are keeping some hail sizes up a little bit around here, but. We do have a storm coming into Franklin. Actually, it's in most of Franklin right now, south parts, and coming into downtown right now. Some heavy rain, some lightning strikes, but really, it's not. This is not the main thing we've been watching. There probably isn't hail in there. It's just going to be a little bit noisy. The main storm we're watching is down here in eastern Hickman County, and that's going to be the storm that has that possibility of hail with it, and it's moving more east. And looks like nope, that's a warning for out west of us. So the Memphis office issued a warning back over there. So that's way to our west. But this particular storm here is the one that we're looking at. It's pushing east again. If you're just joining us, it looks like it's going to mostly be on the south part of south of Franklin. It's going to impact mostly Spring Hill, Thompson Station, Boston, maybe up far north is Leapers Fork, and then go down toward Bethesda, Arno, the 31A, 41A split, maybe Page High School, Flat Creek Road, areas like that down in southeastern Williamson County. But again, currently not severe. But one thing the guys we were talking about just a little bit ago is that we've seen some hail tonight in southeastern Williamson County, and especially moving on over to Murfreesboro. And we don't get large hail around here that often. There are other areas of the country that certainly get large hail more frequently than we do. And so it's a little bit nerve-wracking and scary when you get any kind of hail coming down really hard on your roof or on your window or your car. But in reality, nothing we've seen tonight, guys, and we've had a lot of reports come in of the hail, nothing has met severe criteria, which is quarter size or 1 inch or larger. And so while it may be loud and it might be nerve-wracking, it's not yet been severe. But they're watching for that possibility that the hail might get up to that 1 inch or quarter size, and that's when they would pull the trigger on a warning, is if they think that it has the possibility of being that size, and then they would warn it. Guys, what are you seeing out there? Anything I'm missing? Anything you got to add?
Couple things. It looks like the hail core itself is coming up and then coming down, which means it's getting, the taller it gets, the more likely the hail is. The smaller it gets, the less likely the hail is going to get. And it looks like it's fluctuating up and down. The center of that core that I can see would put it into Spring Hill in about 20 minutes, so just after 11 o'clock. And then I'm also, you're talking about hail, I was looking over at our Twitter feed, and that Supercell, I guess it was Supercell out in Northeast Arkansas, they had some massive hail over there tonight. That's not what's coming here. I know we had a lot of questions on Twitter tonight about will it be tornadoes? The answer is no. That environment out in Arkansas was under a tornado watch. We are not. That atmosphere was conducive for tornadoes. Ours is not. There is no surface-based CAPE. You've heard us talk about CAPE. There's none of that at all. And the other thing is what they call the LCLs, the height at which the cloud bases form close to the ground. So if this is your ground and the storm forms close to the ground, it's easier for there to be a tornado. But if it's super high up, it's very difficult in Middle Tennessee to have tornado, and ours is super high up in the ground. So what's happening is the dynamics that's creating all this lightning and rain and small hail are all happening super high above us, and that's what's causing this cloud to ground lightning. And you would expect to see a higher frequency of positive strikes, which are those really powerful and strong lightning strikes that hit when the dynamics are all happening really high aloft. And that's exactly what we're seeing. There's several positive strikes that have come through Williamson County. We had one near Henpeck in Williamson County. We had a couple out south of Leapers Fork, and those are generally moving in towards Nolensville. So I think this isn't one of those where it just like flashes up in the sky. This lightning's hitting the ground, and it's hitting it with some force. So please head on in if you're there. I think, and honestly, I really think that the lightning could spread as far north as like Cane Ridge or maybe even Antioch. But the lightning that we're talking about is probably an hour or so behind in like in downtown Nashville and points north. So we're mainly just watching this little cell that's near Duck River. And as I say that, I'm not convinced it's going to get big enough for severe hail, Andrew. I think it's going to be a really impressive cloud to ground lightning strike maker for Spring Hill, and then it'll move into Bethesda, and then it'll move into College Grove later this evening. But the core, like I said, it just keeps going up and down. It doesn't look like it's going to be quite strong enough. Now, as soon as I finish saying that and y'all start talking, it'll start to balloon up and do that, because that's what the tornado did to us the other night.
I wasn't going to bring that up, but it did.
Yeah, we were poo-pooing it. I was like, it's been fine the whole way around, and then bang, and 1-2 scans, there it was.
Yeah, that tornado warning.
Yeah,
that was not tonight, a couple of nights ago.
Yeah, that was whenever that was.
Yeah, it's possible. I think in eastern Hickman County there, I think it's possible that could be dropping nickels. And but we just have no evidence that it's larger than that. And I think they're going to need a little bit of evidence before pulling the trigger on that, just because we haven't seen it yet. There's been no precedent for it anywhere else yet, and I think we'll just have to see the skits. Actually, David, the skits are reading that cell coming through Franklin actually could have had some small hail with it. Certainly,
yeah, over by Ladd Park, just to the south of Ladd Park, kind of moving out towards Nestledown Farms.
Yeah, I'd actually be curious if y'all have any reports from over that way, because that crossing 96 there east of the hospital, Arno Road, right there around Clovercroft. That would be interesting to know if that little cell there has any little hail in it. But the radar is picking up the possibility. I'm sorry?
Yeah, it's definitely perked up in the last couple scans.
It has. So, like over, let's see here.
I'm going to put the 3D on it just for fun.
Yeah, so like right here, it'd be moving toward, that's Wilson Pike. I think this is Clovercroft. Yeah, that's Clovercroft there. Got 96 or Murfreesboro Road, depending on which you call it. I didn't know that was even called Murfreesboro Road for years. It's Highway 96 to me. And that's Chester Stevens Road. So could be some small hail there crossing 96, moving into those areas. But still watching the main deal is back here to the west. Looks like the hail core's come down just a little bit there, eastern Hickman County. But it's what it's doing. It's going down, coming up. And then, it could perk back up again right here as it comes into Williamson County. So
I think we should get some local artists, right, when we're waiting for the storm to happen, to come on and play us some music.
It's the second time y'all have mentioned music. We've got a whole cache here of music we could play.
Oh, that's right. You've got that awesome music that everybody loves. Let's hear it, Andrew.
There we go.
Sounds like something that Mike Myers would have danced to during Sprockets.
So we can just leave the radar up with the music playing.
Is anybody actually even watching the stream? I mean, I suggested that they do other things.
We'll keep that handy. Oh, man.
Yeah, this is looking less and less like a hailer and more like a appliance ruiner. Now, did y'all remember that the other night when we had the storm, we got the report from, I forget her name, I want to say it was Emily or something like that, in East Nashville, where she said that the lightning hit her house, blew the socket out of the wall.
Yes.
The socket then proceeded to spin on the floor like a top while it was sparking.
And then it exploded.
And all her water is brown now. Of course, the fire department had to come. Like, these CG strikes are no joke. And it looks like these strikes are coming into Trinity and approaching Nolansville now, and then another round behind it. Now, this isn't nearly the frequency that we saw the other night.
Hickman Severe Weather just tweeted a T-Spotter report showing some hail between Duck River and Centerville. So this is that storm that we're looking at here, and there's a new scan as it was back about halfway between where it is now and Centerville. And so actually that would be right about where this Highway 50 sign is right there, is about where there's a picture there of some just really, I mean, it's like BB or shot size hail there between Duck River and Centerville. So it is dropping hail, or was at least, and that's not a surprise to us really. But it does look like that possibly has come down. Let me look at the CC product here and see. I'm not seeing quite as much on the. Might still be a little bit. Still a small chance of hail. Wow. Just had a close strike to me.
I like how one of these people on here says YouTube is going to take us down for music. I'm not sure that Muzak that we're playing that is open source license.
It's open source. It's
kicked off.
Yeah. No. It's public domain music. Don't worry about us. We'll be fine. No, we're not going to throw up copyrighted music on you.
Andrew, one of the things I was looking at earlier, obviously that lightning complex with the storm in Franklin, and it looks like it's in range of the super mega cam up in Gallatin. Seeing lots of huge flashes come across.
Yeah.
One of the things that I know we were concerned with earlier was that amount of lightning, but now that I think a lot of people's evening activities have kind of wound down, hopefully most folks are inside, but want to remind everybody that the rule is if you can hear it, head on inside, right? Don't be outside when lightning is in the area. Don't be outside when you can hear thunder.
What's the saying? When thunder roars?
Go indoors.
Nice. Yeah, you're looking at the super mega cam now. This is in Gallatin, looking down to the south. What you see there is from about 40 miles away. You see downtown Nashville and some of the sparks above town there. So this is looking from Gallatin down to the southwest, looking to downtown. And the storms are past downtown, but we're able to see the lightning from up there in Gallatin, way up on the ridge there, north of town, up near South Tunnel. So that's where this is, looking back down to the southwest. And so we'll keep that up in the corner there while we watch radar here. So one little cell coming through Trinity, Burke Hollow, and woo. There it is. And so this little storm here is going to be moving off, crossing Clovercroft. Here's Clovercroft Road here, and moving off into the Bent Creek subdivision there and downtown Nolensville, which saw a fair bit of damage the other night in the straight line winds that we had, and damaged quite a bit of stuff there in Nolensville and up and down Nolensville Road. But doesn't look like anything like that with this storm. Maybe some small hail with this one, perhaps. But consider yourself lucky, I guess, if you see a little bit of teeny tiny little hail. No big deal. But out of that one. So we'll let the new scan come in and show us where that's heading off to the northeast.
I think it's less and less likely that there's hail in there.
Yeah. So that little storm right's on there on top of Burke Hollow, moving into Nolensville. So that one's coming down. The one down here, even to the southwest, guys, looks to me like it's a little less impressive, even more than it was.
And looks like forecasters in NWS chat agree with that. Lead forecaster saying that the last few scans have it toned down. Looks like pea-size hail. Earlier, we were worried that storm that's moving into southern Williams County would warrant a severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like it's, at least for now, pulsing down. If it pulses,
it's down by
up,
about
maybe
20% from just on this. The base reflectivity was 63 when we got on the stream, and now it's down to 53 max and dropping, which makes sense why it would come down a little bit because it's now like it's broadening out. So,
David, Mark
yeah.
wants you to sing a song.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
I only sing Toad the Wet Sprocket. And I do that badly. I bought some new shampoo that takes the gray out of my temples. Because they were screenshotting, my buddies were screenshotting me, and I was like, I look like an old man. I mean, so I got it, and it's going to gradually come out.
You should just go full Polly Walnuts with the gray on the side of your head.
Yeah, I think that's the move.
That's the move.
Yeah.
Weather
By the way, I
wise guy.
tweeted that something was cheeks, and I didn't get any pushback the other night. So I think that's working its way into the lexicon of the youth. Oh, and I did a TikTok tonight. I didn't tell you guys. We were at the Mexican restaurant, and I said that it was going to storm tonight, and then I turned it off, and we applied a rain filter on it because I'm really worried that the youths don't know what's going on because they're all on TikTok all day. The youths.
Do we have a Nashville severe weather TikTok now?
Yeah. No, we've had it for a long time. I've spent several months on it.
Well, there you go,
just to learn the ethic of it. And what I learned is you probably shouldn't be doing it unless you have a scripted thing going on or you know a dance. And I don't do well in either of those things.
Somebody on Twitter says, any chance that rotation tightens up? But just to be clear, we're not seeing, any areas of rotation at all anywhere.
So I think I know what he's talking about, Will. Assuming it's a he, I don't know. If you just turn on the reflectivity next to the velocity, you'll see the reds and the greens next to each other. And that's usually, like if you watch TV or watch us or something, that's usually the things that we look for in finding rotation. But the red and the green has to be co-located over at least a 35 dBz reflectivity core. So it requires some interpretation. You can't just look at it and go, oh, that's rotation. A lot of times what it's telling you is it's just raining so hard that when the raindrops hit the ground with force, it goes out. And so you'll have reds and greens next to each other. That's not indicating a rotation. It's indicating that just the wind got pushed away because the forces of the rain came down so hard. So that's not always a clear indication of actual rotation. And in fact, it makes no sense that there would be any kind of thing rotating as a tornado tonight. The clouds way, way up in the sky are tilted over. And that's one of the reasons why we're having hail and cloud-to-ground lightning, but it's not tornadic rotation. So it's a good question, but you have to understand that any one thing that you see on a radar doesn't tell the whole story. You have to ask it other things, and all of those things have to tell the same story for you to be able to draw some sort of conclusion. Yeah.
Well, guys, it looks like this thing's coming way down. Looking, kind of zooming out here, we got some more storms coming in. This was not unexpected, but we have more storms coming in for overnight tonight. More rain back to the west of us. Got a severe down there in West Tennessee, but we don't expect that to impact us. That's sort of aimed east. Our weather's sort of coming from back around I-40. And so it looks like we're in good shape. Just some rain and and some thunder and lightning. Looks like that's about it, guys.
It's 11:01. We need to figure out the clock problem.
Yeah, 11:01. Yes, asking what time it is.
If you're wondering whether or not you are live, just hit the little live button on your little thing.
Yeah, just push the live button on YouTube. That'll make you live. Yeah. That'll make sure.
But I'm with you. We need to put it like a giant clock behind us.
Back there. I actually have one in the basement.
Like a giant digital clock. But so that severe thunderstorm that's out south of Jackson isn't going to get here. All that's going to get pushed out. So we're looking at maybe an inch of rain, depending on where you are. I think the backyards are going to vary. But this looks like a garden variety lightning storm. Weather Service just put a message in there saying this hail core is coming down, which is to say the storm is going to weaken with respect to hail, but still produce plenty of cloud to ground lightning here in Williamson County. But I don't really see any reason to continue the stream at this point, unless you guys just want to hear me reveal more personal hygiene tips that I'm applying to myself, which frankly, I'm bored listening to myself talk.
No, I think I'm good, Will. I don't know about you.
I'm good.
I feel pretty hygienic.
Me too. Fortunate in that this hasn't caused any of my hair to go gray yet. Although I think a few more years of live streams and that'll probably happen. I am pretty comfortable bringing it down now that we can see that storm that's straddling the Murray County, Williams County line is pulsing down and going to stay that way. It's going to zap a lot of any instability that we had down there. Probably still hear some rumbles of thunder overnight. So if you do hear thunder and lightning, don't get overly concerned. Not having big expectation of severe weather.
Yeah, we're good. I don't have anything else. So y'all, I'm gonna still be tweeting, or Will or Andrew will still be tweeting, for as long as it's appropriate. Usually on something like this, probably by about midnight, things will be kind of quieting down, especially in Wilco. So once we sign off here, we'll be there. And if you have any questions, but don't worry, it's not going to tornado. We're not going to get a big wind event. So we're good. All right, I'm going to start talking now. Andrew, you can cut it off or add it, whatever y'all want. I'm going to mute myself.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. Follow us over on Twitter. And if you do have any reports, if you happen to have anything come in, you see any hail or anything, we don't think you will, but if you happen to see some hail, or if you know somebody, in another county or something and they had some hail, just drop that over on hashtag TSpotter. Tweet us using hashtag TSpotter. And we've got a lot of hail reports tonight. Those are great to have. Feel free to add to that if you've seen hail where you are, and we'll get that over to the Weather Service. They have quite a few reports right now, but if it's anything that we haven't seen yet, we'll certainly get that to them. And hope everybody has a good night and stay dry. We'll talk to you later.